What's going on, guys? It's the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for my live review for Monday Night Raw on the August 14th, 2017 show, the go-home show of Raw before SummerSlam. And may I say, despite some weird decisions made on Raw tonight, some matches that were supposed to happen at SummerSlam already happening, I thought this was a really solid go-home show, pretty much. Again, something's weird happened, but most of the stuff like the rematch, the matches that were scheduled to happen for SummerSlam that happened, I think in the outcome still kind of made sense. I know like the Cruiserweight title match, well, you could have waited till the till SummerSlam for that, but it was gonna be on the pre-show. Why have Tozawa not win the title if no one's going to watch the pre-show? Because who does watch the pre-show? Balor and Wyatt, we'll talk about that one. There's one match that has not yet been made official that I'm still curious about, but we'll get to that one later. One of the lower points of the show, I'll say. But overall, this was a really strong go-home show. And may I say, last week's Raw was a little back and forth. The week before, the Raw in Pittsburgh, the first 2 hours were great. But then the last hour was kind of meh. The week before, though, was also solid as well. So I got to say, for the most part, it's been a pretty decent build for SummerSlam. Even, of course, the Raw is also before Battleground, since Battleground was a SmackDown pay-per-view. But SmackDown's done all right. Last week's show, first hour was good. The last hour was a little off. But overall, I think we've had pretty decent build for SummerSlam, and I'm very interested to see what goes on at the biggest show of the summer this Sunday night. Oh, and of course, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Can't forget about that. Before we get started, also, just want to make two quick announcements as well. First off, it was announced today also that SummerSlam will be returning to the Barclays Center next year for the 4th year in a row. So that is awesome. I went to the Barclays Center to see SummerSlam back in 2015. If things work out, for my friends and I, maybe we can go back again someday. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But it's good enough. But of course, the bad news is earlier over the weekend, it was announced that Ric Flair was hospitalized. Apparently, it has to do with heart issues. He's put in a medically induced coma. He's out of surgery and resting, though, apparently. So hope that is good news, and hopefully the Nature Boy will recover and be able to get out and, continue to live life the happiest for himself. So just want to get those quick announcements out there. But Raw tonight, we start off with an in-ring promo, and it is Dean Ambrose coming out, pretty much just saying, I'm tired of playing games, Seth. I want answers. So Seth comes out just explaining what's been going on. Seth's like, you got to admit it, Dean. You deep down, you still trust me. I know, it's a hard time. I know it's a hard time trusting me, and honestly, I have a hard time trusting myself as well. And Ambrose admits that he felt like trusting a little bit, but he just didn't understand why last week Rollins did not accept the Shield fist bump when Ambrose put it out. And I think Rollins said something about that, because you didn't come out and help me earlier or whatnot, because, just making sure this is what you really want, or is this you're doing it because of, other Boulder Dash. But anyway, so they start fighting. Seth put the fist bump out. Like, Dean wasn't happy about it, saying, Rollins, you're a joke, blah, blah, blah. But then Ambrose put the fist bump out, and then Rollins didn't accept. So finally they drop the mics. Ambrose turns Rollins around, and they start to brawl. And this was a really good brawl between these two, and they had a really good feud. They have had two solid feuds. Their first one, I think, was probably their best. Their second one was good, but I like the first one the best. That culminated at Hell in a Cell back in 2014. But then, of course, the guys who didn't have issues with Lily, Cesaro and Sheamus. Well, it's more so been like, they targeted Seth, and then Dean just come out because he's shown that, he still has trust in Seth here and there. But yeah, so they came out and they targeted the two of them, and they were beating down Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. But then Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose did get on the same page, though, and got a little bit of a beat down back onto Sheamus and Cesaro, clearing the ring. And then at the same time, it wasn't like 1.1 out at the same time. At the same time, they both put the fist bump out, solidifying that there's a Shield reunion, and they're back together. So Rollins and Ambrose are on the same page, but are they for long term? But then out comes Kurt Angle to announce that he's making a Raw tag team match between Cesaro and Sheamus and Ambrose and Rollins at SummerSlam this Sunday. So we're getting that match of what has been rumored, and it's happening. Now, the thing is, of course, this could be a big deal. Could this be, just a one-time thing? Could they lose and Ambrose turns on Rollins? I personally think that, no, don't let that happen because, well, if it was a full Shield reunion with Roman Reigns involved in the match, I'd say, sure, you can do this SummerSlam. But I think what's going to happen, especially since the Revival have recently suffered another injury. Scott Dawson hurt his oblique, triceps, something online. It's going to be out 4 to 6 months, I believe. I think Rollins and Ambrose should win the titles because also there's been rumors about Sheamus taking a break and going out for a movie, and then he'll be back. But have them win the titles and, go through the tag team division, help build some depth back to the tag team division. And then when the Revival come back, that's when they'll drop the titles. Probably later in the year, probably around like Royal Rumble season, whatnot. They can drop titles there. That's when Ambrose can do the turn and have a match with the roles reversed. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania 34 next year. Good long-term booking right there. But I mean, this feud all makes sense though in the long run, as you can realize too, because it's not just Rollins and Ambrose going up against a random tag team. It is Rollins and Ambrose, guys who are having issues trust her, go up against a tag team of Sheamus and Cesaro, who they had issues with each other as well until they realized, hey, we are good together, we work great together. And now they're letting it get to them. Of course, they're being the heel tag team. And again, despite when Cesaro first solidified the heel turn, I was a little not for that at first because I'm like, oh, come on, Cesaro, he's over with the crowd. They're going to cheer him either way. But in the long run, I think Cesaro and Sheamus have been a great heel tag team. And, even like Sheamus' case, the biggest problem I had with Sheamus when he first turned heel was that he was all talk. He was boring and whatnot. But with a guy like Sheamus, who I've always been a fan of, his wrestling style, I always felt he's had a boring character. He's being that guy who's being aggressive. Him and Cesaro are both aggressive heels together. They come out and they actually attack. They ooze confidence. They're heels that they don't walk away from everything. They ooze confidence and know that they can tear crap up. So that's what I've enjoyed about their tag team. And against a team like of Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, former Shield brothers, they can tear things up together as well. And Robbie in the comment section first saying, hey, Raw creative team not probably utilizing great talent like Mickie James and Emma, you just made the list. Well, the thing is, Robbie, I already did put the WWE creative team on the list, so maybe it could be again. But we'll talk about Mickie and Emma a little bit later in the show. And also he says, as Donald Trump, let's make the tag team division great again. Yep, pretty much. Well, hopefully we can make the tag team division great again, because the problem is we need tag teams, because unfortunately Vince McMahon has something against tag teams, and they're splitting up left and right. Speaking of which, has anybody heard also the rumor apparently they might turn Enzo Amore heel now and put him and Big Cass back here as a heel tag team? We'll talk about that in a little bit when we get to the segment involving them later on tonight, but I'll express my thoughts there. And then next was we had a match between almost Seth Rollins, Sasha Banks, and Nia Jax. And the winner would go on to face Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam on Sunday. And honest truth, at first, I wasn't really that interested in this match, honestly, because we've seen it how many times. I was really hoping that they would have, last week, I was really hoping they would have had Sasha and Mickie win the matches, like Mickie win her tag team match, or at least, have Sasha and Nia in the same triple threat match, because we've seen this match how many times. And having these two constantly fighting is showing that Raw Creative is not giving anybody else a chance. Not Mickie, not Emma, not Dana, not Alicia Fox. I don't care. But they're not, again, SmackDown, I'll admit, I've been getting a little bit annoyed with SmackDown, how they're constantly doing these number one contenders matches at pay-per-views with all the women. That bothered me, but the good thing about it is at least they're saying, hey, any of these women are capable of winning the championship. On Raw, as I keep saying, they're showing not only Sasha, Alexa, Bayley, even though that I'm glad that Bayley got pushed aside. Well, her shoulder injury is keeping her off TV for a while, just to freshen her up, because it doesn't make sense for Bayley to be back in the title hunt. But it's at least saying, hey, I'm still around. Like, we're still trying with Bayley, even though they've booked her really badly. But the thing is, like, you need to show more people are capable of winning the title on Raw than just Nia Jax and Sasha Banks. And I started getting this feeling of, oh gosh, I mean, really? I kept thinking all along the match needs to happen at SummerSlam. The best route you can go is Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks. And I kept getting worried that it could lead to a triple threat, because the story with Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax kind of being friends, but whenever they had gone face to face, they show that, you see, Alexa Bliss to me is not a complete coward heel. She's not one that walks away from every single fight, but they do expose a weakness in her when she gets face to face with Nia Jax. And I was afraid that there was twice in this match where Nia dropped 2 Samoa drops on Sasha Banks. The second one, though, she rolled out of the ring. The first one, she grabbed onto the ropes. And I got scared, oh goodness, because Alexa was sitting on that big beach chair, a big like lifeguard chair, right by the ring watching this match, because she is the goddess of WWE. And I was getting a little worried that what if Alexa runs in and interferes in this match and makes it a triple threat? I did not want to see a triple threat match. I'm sorry. I'm not ready to see Nia Jax yet in the main event. In the women's title match. Plus, also, I want to see all these, triple threats, fatal 4-ways in one pay-per-view, which we really don't really have many. I think that's right. We only have just the fatal 4 for Universal title. But overall, and I was also worried that Sasha would lose, because we're in her hometown of Boston, Massachusetts. And what's the rule, WWE? Well, not really a rule, but what's this familiar trend that seems to be happening? Nobody wins in their hometown. Sasha Banks lost in her hometown at Hell in a Cell last year, but she won tonight. And I gotta say, again, despite me not really caring too much about this match before it started, I thought this was personally Sasha's and Nia's best match. All the near falls, and also, as they made Nia look pretty strong as well, showing that Sasha had to pull out every stop she could to try to beat Nia, and they made Nia look stronger as well. So again, I apologize in advance that I really wasn't that into this match, but I am still happy that these two were able to put on a good match. That's all I asked for. If that's the case, then I'm happy. And in the live chat, we have Robbie saying Alexa Bliss is the best. Say, what? What? And then we have Sarah Small saying, I'm so happy Ambrose and Rollins back together. So am I. I feel this needs to happen before Ambrose turns heel. And the probably either by the end of this year, not probably around the Royal Rumble time, I'm predicting that heel turn from Ambrose. If Rollins and Ambrose don't do it, as it happened this Sunday. Robbie says, like Michael Cole says, it's boss time. It is thunderous. Yes. But we are getting a match, and unfortunately, we're not getting a stipulation. I was a little disappointed about that, because, it makes sense. Why wouldn't Sasha want a stipulation, since Alexa won by count herself out to still keep the championship? I thought maybe like a Lumberjill match, or a Falls Count Anywhere match, or even no DQ match. Just something to take the stipulation of the championship advantage away from Alexa Bliss in this. But again, overall, props to Nia and Sasha. Again, I'm sorry I didn't really care much about the match at first, but this is definitely one of your best matches you guys have had. Probably your best match you've had to date. And then we move on to this backstage promo where Kurt Angle was talking to the Hardy Boys, excited for SummerSlam, and it sounded like he was trying to address the issue with them about Dash and Dawson of the Revival not being able to compete because Dawson got hurt, and it did look like for a while they were going through with like a triple threat match or something like that between these 3 teams at SummerSlam, but that didn't happen. And but then they got interrupted by the Miz Taraj, and Miz is complaining, of course, about how last week Brock Lesnar came on and ruined their show with attacking him in the Miz Taraj, so he wants repercussions to happen. And as it seemed like when Kurt Angle was trying to deal with the Miz, all of a sudden we have a referee. I think it was I think it might have been Mike Chioda. I'm not 100% sure though. Say we have issues with Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt. I'm like, what? What's going on here? So I was kind of interested because how often do we see Bray Wyatt just attacking someone backstage? I mean, besides his cryptic promos, the only time I ever seen it was when he attacked Randy Orton before their match at Backlash last fall. But we go to commercial break, then we come back, and here's where things start to get a little bit weird. But again, as I said, in my opinion, things kind of did work out in the end. We come back from commercial break. Balor and Wyatt are brawling in the back. They want to rip each other's heads off at this point. So Kurt breaks him up and says, all this other stuff. Then he says, if you want, we're not going to wait till Sunday. We're going to have this match tonight between you two. And at first I'm like, because this whole trend of WWE having this history of having the match, the last Raw or SmackDown before the pay-per-view, and then they had the match, and he makes us not want to see the match at SummerSlam, or the pay-per-view. So at first I'm like, but I'm like, let's see where this goes, and then we have a little bit like a weird little filler, only a couple minutes of filler. To answer your question, Robbie, how many attacks did Ambrose throw into Chris Jericho into? He threw into 69 attacks into my back. Miss you, Jericho. Hopefully you'll be back sometime in 2018, as it seems to be. But anyways, so Elias Sampson was sitting there, which actually, I'm sorry. He's just Elias, not Elias Sampson, which makes no sense at all, because why would you call someone just Elias? You see, some single name, it's like, Cesaro. I'm okay with that. Who else has a single name in WWE that I can't think of off the top of my head? Neville. Okay, I'm okay with that. But just Elias, to me, that's not. When I hear his name, just Elias, I think of like a 10-year-old kid or something like that. It doesn't make me think of some dangerous looking wrestler. Oh, Josh, what's up, man? Love the stream, Mikey. C Nation, stand up. Well, okay, I'll give the fact that I respect Cena, but I won't be rooting for him on Sunday though, because I want to see Corbin win the match. But again, I respect Cena. I'll give him a peace, whatever. Anyways, getting distracted here. So Elias is playing his music, and even Michael Cole called him Elias Sampson. Keep calling him Elias Sampson, please. And then our truth comes out, because Elias Sampson was singing a song about how crappy Boston is and Fenway Park is. And he just, and at first I'm like, okay, go pop some popcorn before something better later on. But then Sampson just beat down Truth, and that was it. So I'm like, kind of pointless, but okay, at least a good result happened. You had a guy like Elias Sampson looking strong coming out. And thank you for a compliment, Robbie. Your impersonations are great. I try. I give impromptu here and there, somewhat. But anyways, but yeah, this is weird, random, but on a positive note, at least Elias Sampson just came out looking strong. And again, I keep saying, at first I wasn't too crazy about Elias Sampson coming up to the main roster, but then, they've done all right with him so far. So I'll say, keep going. I mean, he technically won his feud with Finn Balor. So, I mean, keep it going. Let's see what happens with Elias Sampson. Or just Elias, but I'm calling him Elias Sampson. We then have this in-ring promo with the Shark Cage and Big Cass, as this Sunday, Big Cass and Big Show are going to square off in a match with Enzo Amore locked up in a Shark Cage, because Enzo always wants to come out and just rip his former friend Big Cass to shreds. Big Cass comes out again. They updated his music, which I'm glad, because a lot of people didn't really like his first theme song, but I think this one's better. He comes out and kind of similar to Roman Reigns the night after WrestleMania, except this was not as good as that. But Big Cass was trying to say at SummerSlam, and he kept getting interrupted. Finally, he kept saying showing like getting the heat on him as well, just like saying, I don't care. And finally, like, you know what, I'm going to talk over you guys. And he pretty much makes fun of Enzo more, saying, why him and Big Show are friends. Enzo just hides behind another 7-foot giant because that's all he can do. Just runs his mouth, nobody likes him. And Big Show, you're right in this. So, he's going to beat the Big Show, and then Enzo's going to have a bird's eye view in a shark cage above. Enzo comes out. Pretty much his usual. My name's Enzo Amore, and then he says, "Hey, Cass, at SummerSlam, can you was mocking Cass for not being able to get his promo out, which I thought was kind of humorous. And I mean, this kind of Cass, Enzo, who's a little, not annoying, but a little, goofy. You can be a little goofy, but not annoying in his promos. This is like the stuff like I don't mind seeing. Bada boom, really a shark cage in the room. The shark cage really is not that big of a thing for me, honestly. But anyways, they cut another good promo, and then Enzo brings out the Big Show to try to have a beatdown on Big Cass, and also Enzo to bring the fact that Big Cass had been knocked out by the Big Show the past 2 weeks. And saying, how about do the third time? But then a weird alliance happened. I don't know if this was just some random alliance that just happened, or if it's because they had unfinished business technically last week when they had a tag match. But the Club come out, and they team up with Big Cass. Well, first, Big Cass is just the big boot to just easily just knock Enzo out of the way, which is the usual. But then they tied Big Show's right hand to the cage, and at first Cass takes the door and slams it on his right hand, and then he starts slamming his foot into his hand, which is interesting, and it makes sense because storyline wise, Big Cass has not been able to overcome Big Show's knockout punch. I know a lot of people wouldn't care about Big Show being involved in the feud like this, and then of course I will admit my interest in this feud did kind of die off after their main event match on Raw in Pittsburgh a few weeks ago. But I will admit this got me a little bit more intrigued, thinking this could still be good. This cannot be, because my thoughts is why this could still be good is because Big Show did do a good job at putting over Braun Strowman earlier this year. And if they're going to give them a match where Enzo's not going to be running in and interfering, I think they can still possibly have a good match. Because the match they had that was in the main event. Again, the thing that was sour about me besides Enzo interfering was the fact this was the main event of that show, where that third hour just felt flat. But this match, I feel, can still be good. But let me ask you guys another question. I said earlier, there was a rumor apparently that the WWE is starting to think that maybe splitting Enzo and Cass up this soon was not a good idea. There's rumors of possibly having Enzo turn heel and him and Cass get back together and be a heel tag team. I'm mixed about this because, as I probably mentioned before, I personally felt like that Enzo and Cass was the team that should have turned heel at Payback on the Hardy Boys and not Sheamus and Cesaro. Well, Sheamus and Cesaro, it's worked. I'll give them that. But in my opinion, the match at WrestleMania was Enzo and Cass's to win until the Hardy Boys came back and stole the moment. I felt that would have felt a little bit more special. Sheamus and Cesaro, it's worked out great, but I feel it could have the Enzo and Cass. But with the story that's going on right here, I'm not 100% sure if maybe it would work right now, or I give them back together right away. What I feel that needs to happen is I feel somehow, whether it's, I don't think Enzo should be in the Cruiserweight division. I feel that Enzo is, as I said in my video of the top wrestlers, in my post-SummerSlam Superstar shakeup, I think Enzo should go back to NXT, because right now I don't see any singles potential in Enzo Amore. I see tag team potential in him. If they want to keep him and Big Show as a tag team, okay, we'll see how it goes. Just give more tag team to tag team division. But some way, I feel if they want to get Enzo and Cass back together, because the thing is, why would they get back together right away? Even if Enzo turns heel right now, why would they get back together right away? To me, it would not make sense because Big Cass has this big heat with Enzo about how he just runs his mouth, just annoys heck out of people, and just does this. So why would all of a sudden one to wake up more and be like, oh, I'll take him back? It wouldn't make sense. It's just like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins all of a sudden accepting each other being buddies again. So what I think needs to happen, I think they need to, after this whole thing with Big Show, this feud with Cass and Big Show ends, Enzo needs to get far away from Big Cass, whether it's just staying on the main roster and just teaming with the Big Show, or Enzo going back to NXT and just recreate himself or doing something that's gonna make us believe that he does have some potential in him, and have Enzo have some type of success that will have Big Cass eventually to make sense one day. Him and Enzo getting back together, because right now with them to split up, I could see Enzo's proven to Big Cass he has success, because Big Cass' thing was that Enzo's been holding him back. But if Enzo actually gives Big Cass a reason to say, hey, I'm not as much a joke as you think after all, then they'll get back together. So that's just my thoughts on it. I mean, I'm 50-50 about it, because I do feel that, yes, Raw could use tag team, or WWE in general can use any tag team division right now because of how many tag teams they've split up since WrestleMania or whatnot. But I feel like that if they want to reform them again with the stories taking place, it would probably be too soon to put Enzo and Cass back together. But again, we'll see. I've talked about this promo a little too much. We'll see what happens this Sunday at in the match where Enzo will be locked up in a shark cage with Big Cass and Big Show. And Robbie in the comment section says, hey, Mike, if Jon Stewart even thinks of showing up at SummerSlam, I hope Braun destroys him. Yes, please. Sorry. It was okay in 2015, but last year he was so drunk. It was not even funny how high he was last year. And of course, that whole thing he was involved with the New Day in the clubs match, that was just terrible as well. But if Jon Stewart decides to show up for some reason, Braun can destroy him. That's completely fine with me. But anyways, we talked about this one enough. Moving on. Speaking of we talked about before with Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt, we had a Cruiserweight Championship match tonight. A match I was supposed to play at SummerSlam, but Titus O'Neil made the excuse of, we're in Boston, it's a big town, big crowd. Why don't we do this tonight instead of SummerSlam? So I'm like, okay. But I'm thinking, are they still going to have the match on Sunday? Which, either way, this match is probably going to be on the pre-show. So I feel like, if they were going to give, was before the match, if they were going to give Akira Tozawa the title, then they probably wouldn't want to do it on the pre-show because no one would see it. If they're going to do it on live TV when people would actually see it, and then maybe have an excuse to gain attention to watch the pre-show. We'll try to get viewers to watch the pre-show on Sunday if this match is on the pre-show. That's just me, as guy who's like writing the script, something like that, thinking why they may have done this tonight. But other than that, the match itself, it was a pretty good match between these two. They told a really good story, showing how Tozawa lucked out the first time, and I like the suicide dives they had on Tozawa hitting on Neville. And then there was a time where it looked like Tozawa was going to be trapped in the rings of Saturn, but he escaped that and rolled up Neville. I thought he was going to get like a roll-up victory right there. And then Neville looked like he had Tozawa set up for the right. Actually, before that, I think Tozawa was set up for the Senton Bomb, which I guess this is new finish now. I guess he's not doing the snap German suplex anymore. But then I guess he set up, and then at first he missed, and then I think Neville was set up for the Red Arrow, and then Tozawa rolled out of the way, and then Tozawa hit the Senton on Neville to get the win and become the new Cruiserweight Champion, which I'm fine with this. I felt the match was good. I felt that Tozawa and Neville both fired their best shots at each other. To me, it kind of felt like the match last year, the Raw in Pittsburgh, where Sasha won the Raw Women's Championship. It felt, that's what it felt. It felt like, someone like who was like unbeatable, not being able to be beaten, getting that title off of him, like Neville was, not being able to get that Cruiserweight title off of him. Both him and his opponent firing their best shots at each other, and finally, Tozawa landed his right on the button and was able to pin Neville for the win. So Akira Tozawa was your cruiserweight champion. Again, I'm fine with this. I was hoping that Neville would at least get the SummerSlam, which means it's the Raw before SummerSlam. But I'm happy Neville had the lengthy run he had. I don't know if Neville's going to win the title back on Sunday or not. But again, like I said before, this could have been a reason to try to get people's attention to watch the pre-show on Sunday, since they're going to be having a rematch on the pre-show on Sunday, I believe. They did have something else for 205 Live towards the end of the show, but I wasn't paying attention because I didn't. When 205 Live was on TV, I just shunned it out. But very good cruiserweight match. I'm happy that Tozawa won, and we'll see what happens on Sunday in their rematch. And then what's next? Oh, then we have a backstage promo where Big Show has his right hand wrapped in his suspender, whatever you want to call it, being told that he has a broken right hand, and Enzo pretty much trying to tell him talking about maybe just not doing the match Sunday, but Big Show is like pretty much, no one tells me what to do, blah blah blah, and he gets and walks away. So, just a couple seconds of whatever, pretty much. And then we have another backstage promo. Emma complaining, well, I shouldn't complain, but expressing her frustration, saying how, people are saying give Emma a chance. I feel like she's not getting her chance here on the main roster. And this whole thing with the hashtag give Emma a chance, which I actually posted a tweet on Twitter saying both hashtag give Emma a chance and give Mickey a chance, because as I said before, the Raw Women's Division is not utilizing their wrestlers. So then Mickey pretty much said, if you want, he said, well, Emma, you did tap out last week. And Emma doesn't want to talk about that. She says, but if you want a chance, why don't we go at it tonight on Raw? She's like, all right, whatever. But which I'm like, okay, because I did see their match at the Raw in Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago on main event. Surprisingly, I thought the match was good. They had on main events. I'm like, let's see what they can do here on the actual roster, on the actual show, anyways. But then we came back and we had the match between Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt. Again, at first I'm thinking, this always better be like a brawl or an inconclusive finish. That way it'll leave us wanting, because I don't want this to be just a match that happens here and then it's not going to feel special at all on Sunday at SummerSlam. But then I had suspicion what this match was going to lead to me. I thought this was a pretty good match. Both of these guys were firing their best shots in each other as well. Finn escaped Sister Abigail one time, and then like he was trying to get the coup de grace at times before. They did have a little bit of a brawl outside of the ring. I know Finn did his double drop kick on. I think he did on Bray outside the ring. But I know in the ring he didn't, as and he went for the coup de grace, and that's when Bray rolled out of the way and hit Finn with a Sister Abigail to get the win. At first I'm like, okay, so what does this mean now? Like, is this going to be saying, oh, I lost. He may have lost to that Finn Balor, but I'm going to rant Demon Sunday of this. But this is where I got interested. This is where I like, okay, this is okay with me. I mean, even though people are saying the whole 50-50 booking, I'm like, okay, this is good storytelling right here. I got to give WWE credit for what happened after the match. Bray hit Finn with another Sister Abigail, and then he disappeared for a few seconds, and he came back with this bucket in his hand. And I'm like, what is that? And then he dumped it on Finn, and it was a bucket of blood. Even though they said it was acid liquid, or whatever was saying, that's just Vince McMahon like refusing to say the word blood. Like, you can't say belt, you can't say briefcase, you can't say wrestler, all this other bull crap. And yes, Robbie, we got blood. I thought it was neat. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is the reason why you want to get me to see them fight again, even if you have the match right before Raw. Right before on Raw. I understand, again, the whole 50-50 booking concept happens, but these are guys that this is a feud where it's okay to me if it's 50-50 booking. I mean, these are two guys that need to bring the best out of each other, and I think it's made Bray look strong. I mean, heck, you think about it. Bray beat Rollins twice. He beat Finn Balor clean tonight. Like, are they actually trying to do something with Bray Wyatt, not make him look like the eater of pins, as we were calling him after his feud with Randy Orton, or as my friends I call him, Blandy Borton, ended? So, I mean, I thought that this was cool. And then later in the night, Finn came out of Kurt Angle's office with blood, interviewed, and asked him, and I think he said something like, Bray Wyatt thinks he may have put demons on me, but I have demons of my own. Pretty much make it official that this Sunday, the Demon Finn Balor, I'm not calling him the Demon King. I'm sorry, I didn't like when I call him the Demon King. I like it saying just the Demon Finn Balor is returning. As we will see him, the Demon, the first time since his Universal title match against Rollins at SummerSlam last year. So again, despite the fact that they had the match on Raw, again, the Cruiserweight match I can forgive. Rematch was going to be on the pre-show. We got to see Tozawa win the title on the main show. But just try to give us an excuse to watch the rematch on the pre-show on Sunday. But this match as well, despite the fact that if it was just, Finn lost, Bray's out, then Finn's like, he may have beat me tonight, but this happened. But the blood, I'm going to call it blood, not acid liquid, whatever the heck they called it, that got me interested. That got me thinking, yes, this is going to even better storytelling. So it's pretty much WWE going from like an average, storytelling, well, kind of a little bit lower since they did the match Raw 2, turning it up a notch. So WWE, I give props to you for doing that tonight. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Demon Finn Balor against Bray Wyatt this Sunday at SummerSlam. And then we got Emma versus Mickie James. All right match. I personally enjoyed the match I saw on Main Event. I saw the match on Main Event. I thought their Main Event match was a little bit better than this. More so, it was nothing really much to write home about. I guess the disappointing part was that Emma lost. Here's the thing. I hope Emma's not losing because WWE is just, just firing back at her because of the backstage heat she apparently has. I hope these losses are going to lead to, Emma pretty much eventually going on a rampage and just like pretty much being like trying to compare Emma to Samoa Joe would be a long shot, but just her pretty much, just saying, I don't care anymore, just attacking anybody in the Raw Women's division because she doesn't feel like she's getting her opportunities. Could be interesting, but I'm worried that they're pretty much just trying to bury Emma. Personally, I think she should either go back down to NXT, or if they do the post-Superstar Shakeup, as I predicted, she should go to SmackDown. Because I think if her and Natalya switch places, and Natalya comes over to Raw, I think Emma could thrive in the role of Natalya's kind of, except Emma would probably get more wins than Natalya's gotten. But I think she would benefit a lot better from being on SmackDown, give a fresh heel, a fresh face of a heel in the SmackDown Women's division. Robbie said in the comments, OMG, Mike, I just thought of something. If they want to keep this feud going after something, do you think WWE would actually do Balor versus Bray at No Mercy in House of Horrors? I would possibly give it a chance because of the darkness of the characters, I'd say, in both Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor. With Randy Orton before, I feel like it just didn't quite match. But I think with Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt, with how of a different level this match has taken, with the acid liquid, I think I'd give it a chance, but I wouldn't get my hopes up as high as I did for the original House of Horrors match because it didn't really work that well, in my honest opinion, at Payback. It was okay, but it wasn't really that great. That's, of course, when Finn Balor, this is also when Finn Balor goes out and makes the match official. And then we had a match where it was originally supposed to be Curtis Axel versus Jason Jordan, but then we had it being The Miz and Jason Jordan. So I'm thinking, gosh, we're supposed to be getting, it's been rumored we're going to be getting Jason Jordan and The Miz for the Intercontinental title on Sunday. So I'm like, why are we doing this match now? Or is it this going to be one of those things where Jason Jordan wins and makes another champion loses again clean as well? But then as Jordan was about to I think probably hit grand amplitude on The Miz, that's when the Miztourage came and beat him down. And then the Hardy Boys came out. First I was a little confused. I'm like, why did Hardy's come out? But then I thought back to earlier in the night. Oh, so it kind of makes sense, like the Hardys were interrupted and disrespected by the Miztourage, but also storytelling-wise, the Miz uses it as an excuse that, now you send your precious Hardy Boys out against me, because it continues this little trend of the Miz having something against GMs thinking that they're after him to make his life miserable, like how he was with Daniel Bryan and with now with Kurt Angle. So instead of a decent 6-man tag match between the Hardy Boys Jason Jordan and the Miz Taraj. Again, it was a decent match. The face team got the win after a twist of fate into a swanton bomb by Jeff Hardy. But now my question is now, this doesn't make sense, is if you're going to have an Intercontinental title match on Sunday, which I wouldn't mind still seeing, because we might seeing all the titles being defended on one of the big fours, which is SummerSlam. What excuse do you have now to have Jason Jordan getting an Intercontinental title match? Because aside from, like, personal thoughts about how, I've said before, Jason Jordan really isn't getting that good of a reaction right now, because I think the problem is it's not him. It's just the situation he's in. He was the answer to a storyline that had a lot of hype for it that didn't. The result was disappointing. And I don't think Jason Jordan being revealed as Kurt Angle's illegitimate son was the biggest thought that a lot of people in the WWE universe had. So I feel like that's the biggest reason why Jason Jordan is not getting a great reaction right now. I understand that people don't like his promo skills. I do think he has the talent, but right now, who is he beating? Kurt Hawkins. He beat a jobber, and then tonight in their tag match, he didn't get the winning pin. So my opinion now, as I'm confused now, is why would you give Jason Jordan a title shot if he didn't technically hasn't really done anything to earn that title shot, other than the fact that he just hit belly-to-belly suplexes on The Miz and pretty much refused to join The Miz's Miz Taraj. Just my thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section if you're watching this this after it's posted? Which, again, I'm sorry this review has gone on a little too long. It's just there's a lot to talk about from this Raw. I thought it was a very interesting Raw that happened, as I keep saying. And then finally we get to our main event, our last segment of the night. It was the face-to-face between the four competitors of the match that I think, if done right, could possibly be the match of the year this Sunday. And that is the Fatal 4 for the Universal title between Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman. I can't wait for this match Sunday night. This needs to be the main event. This should be the main event of SummerSlam. Paul Heyman comes out, cuts a really golden promo, pretty much saying how, Kurt Angle is, still this whole thing about, typical, championship defending themselves, champion defending themselves, saying like, oh, you got guys in a fatal 4-way, they can lose the title if they don't get pinned. But I make spoilers here, not predictions, pretty much saying the usual. A good promo though. I just can't remember exactly word for word what he said. Here, let me read it in the description right here. On Smart Out Moments, saying that ladies and gentlemen, it's Paul Heyman. He is upset that WWE is desperate to try to squeeze one more historic moment out of his client with his absurd 4 match. He promises that all security in the world cannot avoid the chaos that will happen tonight when all 4 of them come into the ring. Well, she did. But he pretty much makes a case of why each one of them will not win the belt. And then after he's done, first out comes Samoa Joe. Now, I'm thinking to myself, okay, at first thinking maybe don't bring out Roman Reigns last, because that's constantly happening. Samoa Joe came out short and sweet, saying how he was close. He's going to beat Brock Lesnar, put him to sleep this Sunday. Then we put comes out Braun Strowman saying, in case you guys have forgotten, I was the last man standing, but Joe made a case was no, I helped to be the last man standing last week. And out came Roman. And at first, why did Roman last? But Roman didn't say anything. He went right after Joe, speared him. Then Braun did his power slam on him. And then we have this stare down between Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar. At first, before this segment happened, thinking, okay, I want to see, these guys have like a flat out brawl, like just as like a preview for Sunday. But it felt like, the segment to me felt like it was, Roman spearing Joe. We've seen that. Braun power slamming Roman. We've seen that. And we have this face-to-face, teasing like a future match probably between Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, which I want to see. I know my friend Daniel Gaza, he wants to see that at WrestleMania, which that's highly possible. Because before Samoa Joe got inserted into this title picture, I thought this was Braun Strowman's match to win. But I think with how well of the build-up for the match at Great Balls of Fire between Joe and Brock was this past summer, well, last month. I really think that right now the iron is really hot on Joe. If anybody needs to win the Universal title on Sunday, it's definitely Joe. So, but then they have the stare-off teasing the future match between Brock and Braun. And then this first had the security coming out, but then they broke loose, and then the rest of the WWE locker room came by. Braun and Brock got a couple punches on each other, they still held them back. So it was pretty much just saying, you know, oh, what happens once these two are let loose and they go at each other? But of course, you know, they held back Joe on the outside, but I don't know if they held back Roman at all on the outside. If anything, Roman looked the weakest in this segment, honestly, in my honest opinion. But again, it wasn't quite what I expected, but I think it's very acceptable, the ending of a go-home show to Raw. And before I wrap up here, I will go on to Twitter, and I posted 2 polls for tonight. First one, of course, the grade for tonight's show. The other one also was who would win this Sunday's Universal title match. Again, my pick is Joe. I think it needs to be Samoa Joe. My order of preference is Joe, then Braun, then Roman, then Brock. Only because all respect to Brock, I want to see the Universal title run all the time. So if Roman wins it, all right, whatever. I feel that though Roman has done, in my personal opinion, I feel Roman has done his best when he is champion because he's not chasing after the title. But you see, most of the title runs have been short, and he's dropped them at reasonable times. So if he wins the title, I won't get upset about it, just as long as they don't do Roman and Brock at WrestleMania 34. That's all I ask. Roman win the title right here, whatever. I mean, I know I don't really want Brock to win the title, retain the title on Sunday. But again, I'd rather see Roman win it. But my preference in order is Joe winning. My number one pick is Joe, then Braun, then Roman, then Brock. So anyway, let me pull up my Twitter poll here. So right now, in case you haven't participated yet, you go right ahead. I have 8 votes so far on my Twitter poll. Who will win the Universal title match at SummerSlam? Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns. We have 25% saying Brock will retain. 25% saying Samoa Joe will win. 13% says Braun Strowman will win, and 37% says Roman Reigns. So right now, the favorite in my 8 votes on Twitter is Roman Reigns. And then for grades tonight, before I get to my grade, so what grade would you give the go-home show for Raw tonight? On my Twitter, I had 10 votes. 30% says A, 40% says B, 10% said C, 20% said D. Again, I understand why some people might not have liked this show because it was weird with some of the matches that are supposed to happen this Sunday happening. But again, I think storytelling-wise, it worked in the end, in my opinion. I know people aren't going to be happy if Balor wins something because it's the whole 50-50 booking crap. But again, this is a feud that I think can be okay with 50-50 booking. If it was like Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins was, though, that feud didn't really mean much at all. I would not have been happy, but I think this feud will be okay with 50-50 booking. It was a way to, an excuse for Finn Balor to bring back the Demon. And in a Cruiserweight title match, I know that was, but again, I guess we would rather see Tozawa win the title on live TV rather than on the pre-show. But overall, if I can give this a grade, again, let me see here. The only parts I did not like, I didn't really hate anything in this this show. I felt the lowest point was probably, of course, Elias and R-Truth. That was like, what was that? Didn't really make any sense. Mickey and Emma was all right. The storytelling with Jason Jordan and The Miz is a little off to me, but I thought the match was still okay. I mean, this is more, I would probably give a show like this more like a B+, but with the title change, the step up with the blood, I felt the storytelling for the most part was really on key tonight, and I felt I was really invested in this. I'm going to be a little more generous. I want to give tonight's Raw an A-, like a 90% A-. Really strong show, really great go-home show. What are your guys' grades for the for this go-home show tonight? You leave them live chat. No one left in live chat. But if not, leave it down in the comment section below. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I know this review was a little bit longer, probably almost like an hour or so I talked, but or like 45, 50 minutes. But this Raw had a lot of great things to talk about. It's not like the past 2 weeks there of like some stuff to talk about. This show was really exciting. There was a lot to talk about. I'm really excited for the Raw brand for SummerSlam. SmackDown has a match too I'm excited about. We'll talk about SmackDown either tomorrow night or Wednesday morning. I might be going out tomorrow night, so I might catch SmackDown a little bit later. But I thought we had a really great show tonight. Again, I'm giving Raw an A- tonight, 90%. Again, as always, guys, so please keep supporting my channel. Check out the latest topic videos from WWE. First one I did was my post SummerSlam rumored superstar shakeup predictions of who I think is going to go to Raw, who's going to go to SmackDown, who would go to NXT, and who would get released. I also did a video response to my friends Rob Kenobi and Daniel Gaiza. Their top 5 wrestlers you like to see have one more match. And so against who on the main roster. Check that out as well. Also, please also make sure to check out my 4 Horsemen, my Horsemen Friends channels as well. Daniel Guys, BSP Wrestling, and Rob Kenobi. Check their channels as well. Give them shout outs as well because they're awesome as always to talk with. And yeah, but always for my channel, please click that like and subscribe button for more content to come. Stay tuned. I'll probably have my SmackDown Live review either tomorrow night or Wednesday morning. NXT review will be sometime Wednesday night or Thursday morning as well. I'm going to try to do my top 10 topics video also sometime this week as well for SummerSlam. Again, if I have to, I'll do a live stream. I will try to do it the old way, recorded in front of the green screen with my graphics. I'm going to do video responses also to Robbie's video of the top 10 NXT TakeOver hidden gems. I'm still trying to think those out as well. And to Dan's video of the top 5 wrestlers John Cena needs to face on the Raw brand. So I'll get those videos out. So a lot of content to come sometime this week. Again, there's a lot happening. I mean, luckily for me, it's a little bit of a slower time right now, a little bit of a breather month for my job. So despite me trying to, knock out a lot of work there, I'm still trying to, take advantage also and do a little bit more on this channel as well, especially with the SummerSlam coming out. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Whoever watched this live review, again, make sure to also tune into NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 this Saturday and the SummerSlam Sunday. I'm really excited. I can't wait. All right, guys. I've been talking for a while. I've talked a lot. It's been fun. Thank you all for tuning in. And with that, guys, I will see you all later. Have a great night.